And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv. It's tiki time at Harbor Cove Cafe. Dive into the tropical paradise at the end of Spinnaker Drive in Ventura with vibrant drinks, delicious bites, award-winning fish and chips, and more. Now featuring extended hours and happy hour, Fridays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive. Visit harborcovecafe.net for more information.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
Well, good morning. This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am our Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Sitting right there to my right is none other than JohnyD. Johnny, good morning.
Good morning. Headbanger here.
Okay. And sitting next to him is Jeff Genet, back from low in the ends, high in the middle, Ohio. That's where you were, right?
Yes.
How was your trip?
Interesting.
Is that all you want to say about it?
No, I can say a lot more. I mean, yeah, secret-ish. We spent a lot of our time in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, because it's right on the corner there of West Virginia, Ohio, and it was kind of like the central point of where we had to go pick up the ashes, where we had to go deliver the ashes, and all the different places where my grandpa and his siblings lived. So,
Did you get to ride in an Amish cart?
No.
Behind some Amish carts.
Yes, we had to indeed pass a lot of Amish carts on the road and saw a lot of just, people driving them around. Even like 7-year-old kids were driving those things around. It was
Really?
crazy. Yeah.
Well, I guess they don't need the licenses and stuff for there, right? Because
yeah,
it's its own world.
Yeah, it was very interesting being out there. We didn't get to explore a lot of the Amish country out there. We had plans to go visit an Amish village and do this and that and do one of the buggy rides, but we got carried away, and we were in this big 12-seater van with 8 people, and then it just kind of was like, oh, we're back at the hotel. I thought we were gonna, oh, okay, so it was interesting. A lot of weird stuff out there, I would say.
Yeah, well, everything's old out there.
Yeah.
It's not like California where things aren't as, there are towns where things are old, but not as old as Pennsylvania or those places.
Yeah. You could definitely feel how old it was. Yeah.
Did you see a bunch of Steelers fans?
Yeah, in the Amish community.
Well, we were in Pittsburgh. Yeah. Yeah. We went on a little boat tour of the 3 rivers and saw all the little stadiums and all the buildings and the bridges and stuff. And it was really nice. Yeah, it's very beautiful out there. Very different.
Now, you said one of the things you were looking forward to the most was doing some trespassing. Did you get to do your trespassing?
We didn't get to do a whole lot of trespassing.
Sorry.
There was we did the cemetery, and we did that. It was this tiny little cemetery out in the middle of nowhere. It was great. It was really easy. We did what we were able to do. Not saying much else other than that.
Yeah.
But we were able to do what we needed to do, and it was nice. But there were some other places that we passed that were actually connected to my family history. Some buildings in Millersburg, Ohio, were built by my great grandfather, I believe, or great grandfather, back in like the 1800s. And he actually he was a surveyor, so he would survey the land, and then they would help build these buildings. So the courthouse out in Millersburg and the church that we actually went to at the cemetery was built by him as well. And they took stones from the quarry down the road, which was abandoned. And I really tried to derail my family into going to this abandoned quarry. I'm like, oh, it's right there. Like, I want to go to all these haunted places. Let's go there. And then, yeah, we never got to go.
That's too bad. But you got to do a lot, though, apparently.
Yes, we did do a lot. I am planning on going out there again next year by myself, I think.
And you're going to go to the quarry.
I'm going to go to a bunch of haunted places.
Got a lot of water in it. You can go swimming in it.
Maybe. I don't know if I'll hit the quarry, but there are a lot of haunted places like within an hour of each of the places we were at. So, and they're like, hey, these are like the top 10 most haunted places in the United States kind of thing. So I'm like, I planned a road trip to go through all these cool places.
Well, we could talk about that next year for Halloween.
There we go. Yeah. That'll be our next thing. Halloween is coming up and we're trying to decide what kind of show to do. Yeah. We'll come up with something because I love to do that on the radio, when I do KVTA on Thursdays. During October, they like me to do Halloween movies, three at a time. So I'll be watching a lot of Halloween movies coming up. Halloween horror, all that stuff together. It's funny because after I do that, they always accuse me, all you watch is bloody movies. It's like, what's Halloween? What?
Yeah.
Have you ever snuck in Neath?
Oh no, they're very nice about Neath. They talk about it almost every show, and
cool.
Especially at Halloween time. So
Neath is really a good book.
Needs to be a movie, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love
Can you get Toby Hooper on the phone for me and talk?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do that.
But Neath was written by our very own R. Scott Bolton.
I can do that now.
And it's available on Amazon.com along with a plethora of lots of R. Scott Bolton books. So go to Amazon.com and under the search engine, type in R. Scott Bolton author. But you've got to be careful because other things will pop up. Look for books like Dead Dick, Neath,
Overnight Sensation.
Overnight Sensation. The latest being Bowling Bag in the Backseat. And there's so many books. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands. Okay, maybe not that many.
There's 9.
There's 9,000. Okay, 9. There's 9 books that are available. And soon, hopefully, there's going to be another one popping out. Which
November.
In
Second
November.
Shot. Yep, a new Brace Heller novel.
So, and if you got Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery. And I tell you what, you get your books. Oh, some of them are on Kindle download.
All of them are.
All of them are.
Most people read their books on Kindle or other app of that type.
Some are. You might get a couple titles will be on hardback, which I prefer hardback myself, or paperback. And if you get a hardback or a paperback, you contact this radio station and we'll get Scotty to autograph it for you.
roughedgestudios@gmail.com. I'm glad we got that out of the way. I did get a great review from my book, The Bowling Bag in the Backseat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring it in and read it, and I'll post it online for everybody to see as well. But the opening line is, I just have one question for you, Mr. Bolton. Were you on crack when you were writing this book? Were you writing from Slab City? Like, wow, okay. But then they go on to compliment me because they thought it was such a crazy book, and it was designed to be a crazy book. So
that would be a good thing, a good story. An author on crack in
that's like every author
Slab
City,
City.
John.
Yeah. No, in Slab City.
It used to be they were all alcoholics. Now they're all, drug addicts. So not all of them. Let's be clear. My wife might be watching.
And like I said, with Halloween right around the corner, Neath, you will so thoroughly enjoy Neath because it's a great Halloween book.
So we're going to reverse things a little bit today. We're going to talk about the things we saw and review them. And then if we have time for that, we'll go to the news afterwards. So let me just start because I haven't seen hardly anything. I was on vacation last week and I didn't have tasks like you did, Jeff. I was just enjoying the sun down in Palm Springs. So I didn't see much of anything, but I did see last night, I watched a movie called Swiped, which is with a story about one of the co-founders of Tinder. And I believe it's a Hulu movie. So I watched it last night and it was very interesting. It's a story of how this woman becomes part of what is generally a man's world in the app business at that time, at least. And she kind of co-founds Tinder. It starts out as something different, She actually came up with the name. She worked with the team that invented the swipe thing, technology that became so popular. And of course, Tinder ended up with millions and millions of subscribers. Well, things go sour for her due to a bad relationship, and she ends up, I don't want to say gets kicked out of the company, but pretty much she has to leave the company. And she ends up suing them. She ends up forming her own product, which went on to be bigger than Tinder. And it's all good and well acted and well written. It runs smoothly. It's very easy to watch just because it's not stylish. It's just a movie, you know. The problem with it is, and by the way, there's a caveat to this. The problem with it is it doesn't feel real. It feels like all this happening is something, it's too pat of a story. And as I'm watching, I'm going, yeah, you know, I'm not sure I'm buying this because it's supposedly based on a true story. And at the beginning, they warn you, yes, this is based on a true story, but we've had to merge events and people in order to make an interesting movie. It just didn't feel real to me. And I'll tell you this, though, this is the caveat. If it is real, if that's what the true story is, that lady got screwed. That's an ugly, horrible world out there if that's the case, because what happened to her shouldn't happen to anybody. But as far as recommending it, I mean, it's interesting to see some of the inner makings of how apps are built and stuff like that. It's not as interesting as the Facebook movie that was done with
Social Network.
Yes, Social Network. It's not as interesting as that, but it does play kind of that way. And I did enjoy watching it, and the cast was great. The script was tight. Everything was tight. But just something that, as I'm watching it, I'm going, this just doesn't feel like this is how the story really happened. And again, if it did, that just sucks. That shouldn't be that way. But I think it was played up a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Well, Hollywood always in the past has always had their artistic license on true stories.
Sure.
Just like one of the movies I brought in today is called To Hell and Back. It's the story of Audie Murphy, who was the most decorated soldier of World War II.
Yes.
Audie Murphy actually played himself in this movie. And I'm sure Hollywood.
There might have been some sanitizing going on there.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
But and Audie Murphy he became an actor in Hollywood. And to get into the military, he was underage and he was small, but he managed to get in anyway. And he became a real life hero.
Well, it's like I always tell people, you know, because I have people who will argue with me about things. They'll say, well, according to the movie, this is how it happened. That's according to the movie. Don't use Hollywood motion pictures as your basis for what happened in real life, because they're not real life. They're movies, and they have to take certain liberties in order to make things flow. But you want it to feel real, and in this case, it didn't feel real.
Yeah, we'll have another example soon, I think, today.
Oh, really? Okay.
So.
Come on, we get around to you.
Yeah, well, I think you guys saw that movie too. So we'll
okay, good. That. Okay. So anyway, I recommend Swiped if you're interested in seeing what happens in the world of apps, especially that app, and as far as what she went through and the links that she went through to make sure that the app worked properly. It's pretty interesting. But overall, I'm hoping that's not the real story, because I'm sure pieces of it are real, but if the whole thing's real, it's a terrible world out there. It is anyway. We know that. The other thing I watched is a movie from 1980 called Hopscotch, and it stars Walter Matthau and Glenda Jackson. And Hopscotch is interesting because, first of all, I love Matthau. Are you familiar at all with Walter Matthau? Grumpy Old Men were his newer, later movies, I guess, that were popular.
It sounds familiar. I'm sure if I see a picture of him,
What was the movie he did with Jack Lemmon, which became a TV series?
Oh, The Odd Couple.
Yeah, The Odd Couple.
Yeah,
that was a funny movie. I recommend it.
Walter Matthau was a great actor for that time. Yeah, pull up. You'll recognize him. And the funny thing about watching Walter Matthau is
I'm sorry, forgive me. Bad News Bears.
Thanks.
Wasn't that him?
The thing, yes, it was. The thing about Walter Matthau is that he was just kind of an old fuddy-duddy, even when he was younger. I mean, in this movie, he's 60 years old. And he plays a spy who is mistreated by his boss of the CIA. So he walks out of the CIA and starts writing a book. And he's sending the chapters to his boss every day, revealing all these secrets. So, of course, they're hunting him down, and they want to they wanted to stop him from publishing this book. His name will come to me, who plays his boss, because he's terrific in it. Anyway, it's a very interesting movie, very well made. I can't believe that are you ready for this? 45 years old already. Oh, wow. But it still plays well. It's very interesting cast. And here's the thing that went through my mind most of the time. I was thinking, Walt, did you find him? Yeah,
I haven't seen any movies. I've heard the name a bunch, especially the stuff you guys are talking about. Yeah. I haven't seen any of it.
I'm a big Mathau fan. I think you will be too. You got to remember it's a different era. And this is exactly my point coming up. That's it. Ned Beatty. Ned Beatty plays his boss. And Ned Beatty is he's just great in this movie. So anyway, I'm watching this movie and I'm watching Mathau and I'm thinking, in these days, there's nobody that age who's that big a star at that time that could carry a movie. And then it dawned on me, well, damn it, Brad Pitt's the same age that Walter Matthau was then. It's just a different era as far as those guys, and a difference in their characters too, because Matthau is an old fuddy-duddy who's hysterically funny, and Brad Pitt's Brad Pitt. I mean, you can't describe him any other way. But I thought, I'm just looking at it wrong, because it's still the same age group that's making the movies. It's just different styles and looks and marketing, especially, I think. Yeah. So anyway, Hopscotch, very good. And I don't remember where I was watching it at, but it was on one of like Tubi or something like that. And I just wanted to see an old Matthau movie. So I dug it up, and very glad that I did. So that's all I saw, really. I haven't seen anything else because I was too busy visiting tiki bars.
And reading your books that you brought with you.
I read 3 books when I was there. Yes.
Did you read any R. Scott Bolton books?
I've already read those. You guys pretty good.
Yeah. And he's available on Amazon.com.
Yeah, we were quite aware of that. All right, Johnny, what did you see this week?
Well,
the past couple of weeks, because we did skip a week.
I was pretty much on vacation myself, and I was house sitting, and I would say puppy sitting, but I think the puppies were me sitting. I love those 2 little guys.
Those are my children.
Yeah. Zoe and Pretzel.
Zoe the pug, Pretzel the Yorkie.
Yep. Anyway, so I got.
Well, you didn't watch anything. Let me just review this. I asked Josh, who lives right next door. I said, "So did you guys talk to John at all this weekend?" He goes, "Not really. John was in his most perfect life. I would walk by to go down to get the mail. When I'd walk back, John was in the lazy boy chair, leaned back, feet up, dogs on his lap, TV on." He goes, "Every time I walked by, John was in the exact same position." So you obviously watched something.
The only thing I didn't have was a beer can in my hand.
Well, there's plenty of beer in there.
I know it. But I didn't want to fall asleep watching what I got to binge watch stuff that I don't have access to at my place. And what I binge watched was, and I made a list.
Oh dear God.
I binge watched the entire series of Andor, which is done according to what they say.
And liked it or didn't like it?
I really enjoyed it. It gives you the where Andor came from. Andor is one of the characters in Star Wars
Rogue
One. And I quite enjoyed it.
Have you seen that series too?
I've seen half of the first season. I need to go back and I need to finish it.
But you enjoyed it when you were watching it?
Yeah.
One of the things I really liked about, I guess it would be the last episode, is you hear a familiar voice from a robot, and that's Alan Tudyk.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk is the man right now.
And speaking of Alan Tudyk, I binge watched the rest of Resident Alien.
Great show.
Oh, man. And honestly, I don't know if it's done or not.
I think it is done. There was talk about moving to another network, but there was also talk that, you know what, we got a good finale. They kind of had a hunch that it was going to be their last season, so they wrote the last episode of the season as the series finale, and it worked perfectly. I'm so sad when a show doesn't get a chance to say goodbye properly, and that show really did.
But there is, I would think there is the possibility, the fact that there's going to be another alien race that wants to take over the Earth, and he's going to come back to stop it.
Well, that's the other
thing.
and
his daughter.
Yeah, this is the other thing. They did leave that open so that even though it felt like a series ending, there's still room to move forward if something happened. I just think that probably one thing, Tudyk's probably too busy.
Yeah, it
Because,
could be.
right, like I said, he's just as hot as he's ever been right now.
I binge watched the second season of Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
I when I was a kid, I was a big fan of the Addams Family, the original Addams Family. I really enjoyed the TV show or the movies, and this TV show Wednesday. I really, really enjoy this. The characters are great.
The big monster in Wednesday, and they called it a hide, I believe.
Yeah.
Could that have been more pure Tim Burton?
Oh, it had to be.
Well, no, it was, but it had the big eyes, the sharp pointy teeth, the big limbs. It's like Tim Burton obviously designed that.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with somebody who did, but I love that about that because Tim Burton directed, I think, half the episodes, maybe more than half.
Yeah, he was the producer and creator on that. So yeah,
I think the only character that I wasn't too thrilled about was Pugsley. I mean, I remember Pugsley from the very original TV show. This Pugsley, okay, he's grown up, and I don't know. I guess it was okay in retrospect. I guess he was okay. Another show that I binge watched.
Before you go there, I just want to say real quick that I think it's hysterical that when Wednesday first started, people were complaining about the actor who plays Gomez Addams.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't look anything like Gomez Addams. Like, why don't you go back and look at the original comic strip? He looks exactly like Gomez Addams. So anyway, I just wanted to mention.
Well, it's because people go, well, he's not John Aston.
Well, that's also true. Yeah. And when you're as good as John Aston and you leave that kind of mark on a role, that is hard to follow.
Another show that I binge watched was Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the current season. I thoroughly enjoyed that show.
I've never seen a single episode of that yet, and I'm ashamed to say that because I'm trying to catch up on all my other Star Trek.
I started watching, why they call it this, I don't know. It's called NCIS Tony and Ziva. Now, Tony and Ziva were two characters from the Mark Harmon days of NCIS on TV.
There might be a connection there.
That's the only connection because they play the same two characters, but has nothing to do so far with NCIS, except it's mentioned that, every once in a while somebody mentions they used to be in NCIS, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but it has nothing to do with NCIS yet. So maybe that will change.
I think that's marketing and what have you, trying to get people to realize what it's from. It's like when they released Ballerina, the movie's title was just Ballerina, and then it wasn't tracking well. So they added Ballerina from the world of John Wick onto the title because they wanted people to know it was John Wick. Still didn't help it much, which is too bad because I enjoyed it. And I think that's why they want people to go, oh, NCIS, I'm in.
Well, also with Tony, it takes place in Europe, and he is the head of some type of, or he was the head because he's on the run now. Was the head of like a security company, not so much where they protect banks and things like that. It's how they protect banks through internet stuff. So they can't get downloaded.
Online security kind of stuff?
Yeah, thank you. And Ziva, she is retired. She has a daughter who was fathered by Tony. And they're not married yet, but she decides she wants to become like a teacher, like a language teacher. And things happen, and they end up on the run from Interpol. Because come to find out, somebody in Interpol is setting them up. The one who's causing all the theft of the securities and things like that. And it's the theft of Interpol's security.
So you enjoyed the show, just you don't understand the title.
So far.
Okay.
Another show that I had started watching last year, I guess, or maybe earlier this year, that I've got out of it, is called High Potential.
Oh yeah.
High Potential is I really enjoy that show. I'm in I guess I'm in the 4th episode of season 2, and it's a fun show. It's about a woman who She's got an IQ of 160, and she's the mother of 3 kids. One of her husbands disappeared 15 years ago. Another husband she had fathered 1 or 2 of her kids. Anyway, she becomes a cleaning lady, and she is in the police precinct station cleaning, and she rearranges things on I guess you call it a murder board. And people, the cops and all, they got pissed at her. Oh, sorry. Pardon my language. They got upset with her for doing that.
That's not so bad, John. I'm not worried about that.
And she was right with what she did, because she sees things in a different way than what regular people with a lower IQ see. Mm-hmm. And she ends up getting hired as a consultant and solves a lot of crimes. It's a very entertaining show.
I love the way they did that, because the detectives would leave it for the night. They'd leave their work up on the board. She'd fix it. And they'd come back the next morning saying, why is our work changed? Well, because you got it wrong. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of Monk. Mm-hmm. And in good ways and bad ways. Good ways because she walks into a crime scene and she can figure out exactly what happened. I always like that about Monk. Bad ways is that she's always right and they never believe her.
Yeah.
It's always, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, she's been right 16 seasons before this. You think that, that gets a little old. And that's Caitlin Olsen who plays that part.
Now, the movies that I've seen, I rewatched the Jason Statham version of The Mechanic. It's a good movie.
It is good.
And I
prefer the Bronson, but it's still good.
But I still believe it plays homage. Did I say that word right?
Close. Homage.
That too. To the Charles
Bronson. Or Homage. You could say Homage too.
Yeah, that too.
It does pay tribute to it.
And if you've ever seen the Charles Bronson, oh God, what was the other guy's name? The blonde. He was in Airwolf.
No, he wasn't. He was in Airwolf.
That too. He was in The World's Greatest Athlete, something like that.
John Michael Vincent.
Yeah, Jan Michael Vincent. Charles Bronson, The Mechanic is another name for Hitman.
Okay.
And it's very, very entertaining. Charles Bronson, how can you go wrong with Charles Bronson? Well, in the new one, or the remake with
the Statham remake
with Statham, he is the Charles Bronson character.
Uh-huh.
And oh God, who's the one that plays the Jan Michael Vincent character?
John, I look up a lot of stuff for you.
Well, of course you do. You got the computer.
I do. That's
I got one in my hand too. God, I can't remember his name.
Anyway, go ahead and talk about him.
Anyway, I really believe they don't change a whole lot in the 2011 version.
Ben Foster, right?
Yeah, it would have to be. Oh, and also Donald Sutherland.
Oh, that's worth watching just for Donald.
Yeah. But I recommend it. Now, they did do a Mechanic 2. I really wish they had done a 3. The Mechanic, you remember that one?
They couldn't do a Mechanic 2 for the first one, but they were able to do it for the second one.
Wait, what?
Never mind. I'm not going to say any more than that until after the show.
Okay. But I recommend that one also.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I recommend just about any Jason Statham movie, except for one that...
There's a couple stinkers, but,
I never got to watch the Emily Blunt, Dwayne Johnson movie, Jungle Cruise, until this past week.
Well, you've seen that, right?
Yeah.
I think we have some comments.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. I mean, it was Emily Blunt. How can you not enjoy it?
It was Dwayne Johnson. I mean, they're both great, but the problem was, and I don't know if you agree or not, why did they have to turn Jungle Cruise into Pirates of the Caribbean?
No.
There's just an adventure there to be had without going into the supernatural.
Yeah.
That was my problem with it.
No, I can
100%.
understand that. But
100%.
all in all, I did enjoy.
They were good together. I thought they had good chemistry.
Well, they got that new movie that's coming out pretty soon, if it's not already out.
That's true. The Smashing
Machine.
Yes.
which
Crusher's a Ramon song. I was close.
I really, I believe those two have got good chemistry on screen.
They do. Yeah. I'm anxious to see that, even though I have a feeling it's going to be an ugly movie.
And I watched Transformers The Last Night, which I had never seen before.
Oh boy.
And well, no, it had two actors in it that I really enjoy. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to watch it.
I will watch every single Transformers movie for the same reason I watch every single Fast and Furious movie. It is so ridiculous that I just got
Of course.
And, you know, I'm not going to see a lot more of those anymore because those are $200-300 million budget movies, and those are kind of going away.
Yeah.
They need to.
Well, with the theaters that are going away and things are going to streaming.
That's also true. But, you know, this summer ended up with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up with two big hits at the end of the summer that they did not expect. Conjuring was one of them. And that Demon Slayer movie just knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people paying attention are going, wait a minute, these are the movies that people want to go see. I think anime is going to be huge next year. And I think that's going to, you know, be a big theater thing. So they figured that out. Theaters, like, they thought this was going to be a dreadful year, and it turned out to be an okay year, at least matched last year.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that double bang at the end, it was a big help.
Anyway, that was what I pretty much binge watched this past week.
Okay,
Cool.
Jeff, how about you? I mean, you've been away too, so
I have seen 4 movies and 1 series.
okay.
I started off with the film Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld and Woody Harrelson.
Mhm.
It was pretty good. Typical high school film, you know, girl going through a lot of problems, throws a fit, problems get solved, something like that. You know. I thought
Good cast though.
it's a great cast. There's a lot of great acting in that film. My wife enjoyed it. We watched it together one day before I went to work. So yeah, I'd recommend it. It's pretty good. That I watched that, I think, the last time I was on the show, like the next day or something like that. So let's see, what else did I watch? I watched The Wolfman in 2025, the beginning of this year.
I didn't realize you just
Thursday.
watched that.
Watched that Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a movie. Sets up a lot of interesting stuff. Like, hey, this is the Native American word for the. I'm like, oh, they're gonna bring in. Nope, they didn't do any of that. They had all this stuff with his family. Didn't bring up any of that.
It was a mess, is what it was.
It was a mess. Yeah.
It didn't pay any tribute to the previous Wolfman movies.
Yeah, and he didn't even really look like it. They just look like. I mean, where was all the hair? You know?
Yeah,
And-
it wasn't even really a wolf thing. It was just, I just was very disappointed.
Yeah.
I thought the acting was great, but
Yeah.
In this
the lead,
version,
I should have her name and I don't, but she's always good.
Oh yeah.
I'll find her.
Yeah.
bits and pieces are starting to come back to me. Is this the one where it shows the guy where he's on foot and he makes it into the village, but at the end, when he leaves the village, he's on the same horse that he originally was on before he ended up on foot?
No. There's no village, no horse.
Yeah, I was going, I don't remember her horse. Julia Garner is her name.
Yeah.
She's always good.
What else? Oh, it was so dark. It was like
Yes.
when I was watching it, I mean, it was Thursday. It was like there were rain clouds all over. It was pretty dark inside my house. And I'm like, what's going on here? I couldn't see half the movie. Like
I
I
saw it in the theater and it was the same way. So what does that tell you?
she's like, I don't know.
dark.
And like I was saying before the show, like I don't know what Blumhouse is doing with these Universal monster movies. And I say all the time on my podcast, like, dude, Universal, like if you're watching this, just hire me, I'll do it. You know, like don't pay me anything, just let me do it. You know, I don't know what they're doing. It's terrible.
Have they made a good one yet? I'm trying to think of the list of the movies that they've made so far. And I'm trying to think of one that really stood out as
The last good one that they did was about 30 movies ago, and that was The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, or The Mummy Returns with Brendan Fraser.
yeah, that was a long time ago.
Well, you know, I was thinking, but it's not the Mummy that we know as the Mummy, where he's loose here in America.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they're going to redo that one.
Well, they are. They announced it, and I forget who the director is, but they've announced the director. They've announced part of the cast for this Mummy remake, and it is being done by Blumhouse, and I believe it's coming out next year. I don't have a lot of hope for it, though.
Based on their history?
I mean, the track record is in hell right now. Like, it's like they can't make a good movie with this stuff. And it's like, use the source material. Why aren't we using the source material? Why aren't we making it a period piece? Like, all these people who are outside of Universal are doing it right. You know, like even last year with Nosferatu, that wasn't a direct Dracula thing, but it was still the same story in a sense.
Right.
It was great.
Yeah.
You got Guillermo del Toro at the end of the year doing Frankenstein, and
good things.
I mean, I don't even have to hear good things. I know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
That was the film that inspired him to make films. So if anybody can do it right, it's going to be Guillermo.
Agreed.
And like, I don't know why the people at Blumhouse and Universal aren't taking care of their monsters the same way that other people are. It's like they're just dropping it left and right.
You know, it's kind of the way I feel about Paramount and Star Trek.
Yeah.
Paramount has never given Star Trek a fair shake. It's arguably their tentpole, with all the TV series and the movies that were successful. And I know there were ones that weren't, but they always, you read horror stories from the producers and the filmmakers that, oh yeah, they cut our budget in half, or they said we didn't have the budget for that, or they're not giving us this wide distribution release. Like, this is your tentpole. You can make this a monster, but they kind of don't. And I just don't understand. That's the same as the monsters there.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Lee Cronin is the director of the new Mummy movie. And what has Lee Cronin directed? Evil Dead Rise. Yeah. You didn't like Evil Dead Rise?
Yeah. I thought they had so much potential with that movie, and they really dialed it back.
You know what?
Having a whole apartment building and you only do one floor. Come on.
But I will tell you this. Any movie with a forget what it's called. The shredder.
Oh yeah.
What are those things called?
The
shredder.
Yeah,
the leaf shredder.
Yeah.
Any movie with that, I'm into. So
yeah.
Oh, there was an episode of the original CSI that they sent a body through one of those things.
Yeah.
Greatest leaf shredder movie ever? Anybody? Fargo. Gotta be Fargo.
Oh. Uh-huh.
No, I never saw the movie Fargo.
You are a failed human being.
I saw the most of the first season of the TV series.
TV series was great. Every.
Oh yeah, what I saw was great, and I don't know why. Well, I know why I didn't get to finish watching it, because I lost that channel. But
let me ask you, Jeff, because
see the movie.
I know you're iffy on the Coen Brothers. Fargo.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay.
I like those movies that, because I don't feel like Fargo was like super wacky like some of their other movies.
Yeah,
and
like
it wasn't
Raising Arizona, for example.
Yeah, it wasn't as serious as like No Country for Old Men. It was like right in the middle where it had this nice mix of comedy and seriousness. So I like that. The wacky ones like Hail Caesar and all that other junk, the stuff that like Matt Damon tries to emulate when he directs movies. I don't like that kind of Coen brother movie, but like when they take it seriously or they add a little bit of humor, that's what I enjoy.
And it's got to be a little quirky. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be wacky.
Yeah,
but it's got to be quirky.
Yeah,
and Fargo certainly is quirky. So
yeah,
I agree. What else you see?
I watched. I took this week and I finally sat down to watch season 4 of True Detective, The Night Country.
Tell me the stars of that, because I don't remember which.
Jodie Foster.
Okay.
There were some other familiar faces, but I don't know
Sure.
who they were.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah, that was the one
Country, but yeah,
where they were in Alaska.
Yeah.
It got like super supernatural, which the other seasons they don't. I mean, the first season did kind of have that like supernatural tone to it, but they didn't really go off the walls with it. I feel like this one, they kind of did that, and the whole time I was thinking, oh man, like this doesn't feel right. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh, okay.
That's exactly how I felt. I'm watching it. I'm thinking, wow, they're going to go supernatural this hard. That's on it, but it was still a fascinating supernatural story.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking this doesn't really fit the True Detective mold.
Yeah.
By the time it's done, it's like, wow. And Jodie Foster in that, good God, that woman's just incredible.
Yeah,
She's
it was
amazing.
great. I would say maybe it's my third favorite season though, because I mean you can't top the first season.
That's
And I really enjoyed the third season with Mahershala Ali. So this one is like right behind that.
Yeah.
So I mean, True Detective is always great.
I'm looking forward to the new one. Apparently, they're going to be doing Mike Hammer, which is Mickey Spillane's character from the 40s and 50s. At one point, Mickey Spillane was the biggest writer in the world and wrote really hardcore detective stories. And Mike Hammer was his character. And apparently, they're going to do a film noir version of Mike Hammer, which is dangerous because they could screw it up too. But
they did a TV series, which I enjoyed, but it was so campy.
Some of the Stacy Keach.
Yeah.
I love that show. But it was extremely campy.
Yeah. Stacy Keach. I'll watch anything with Stacy Keach.
But this is going to be different because I think the fact that it's on HBO means they can take it all the way.
Yeah.
And you need to take
elevated. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to take Mike Hammer all the way because he is violent and vicious and not a nice guy either. And you can't do that on a network television. Stacy Keach's character you liked him, you know. You're not going to like Mike Hammer in the books as much. I mean, I tell you one quick story about this is from the book, one of the Mike Hammer books. He's led to a shed and he doesn't know who's meeting him in this shed, and he doesn't want to go in this shed, but he has to in order to further his case. So he goes into the shed and there's two guys waiting and they start to beat him up. Well, he can't see because it's dark in the shed. So he just starts reaching out with his fingers and ripping at whatever he can rip. He feels his hand go into one of the guy's mouth and he rips it and he feels the guy's cheek just rip wide open. So that guy screams, that those guys run out. He passes out. He wakes up later and he knows that he's ripped this guy's cheek. So he goes down to the hospital. Now you got to remember this is in the 40s and 50s, right? He goes down to the hospital. He waits. And sure enough, out comes this guy with his bandage on his jaw. And he knows that's the guy whose mouth I ripped open. So he follows him. So he follows him until he's out in a very remote part of New York. Runs him off the road. And they have an interaction, just screaming and yelling at each other because Hammer wants to know who sent him. And the guy won't tell him. So Hammer starts punching him in the jaw, takes the bandage off, the stitches, starts punching the stitches. And the guy still won't tell him. So Hammer starts to pick the stitches out. That's the kind of tough guy that Mike Hammer was. Can't do that in Stacy Keach. But I hope that's the kind of thing that we see on the True Detective show. And it seems like the vessel for it.
Yeah. Two more things. I'm going to be quick. I saw the Long Walk.
You saw what?
Oh, The Long Walk.
Oh, yes. Based on the Stephen King book.
Yes, which I told you a little bit about. You guys haven't seen, so I will say I enjoyed it very much. And the actor in it, David Johnson, I believe his name is. He was an alien Romulus. He played Andy, the android. That guy is going to have back problems in the future because he carries every movie that he's in. That guy is an amazing actor. And no discredit to everybody else in this film, because everybody in this film was really good, but he just takes the movie into a whole nother level.
Awesome.
So I really enjoyed it. It was emotional, and it wasn't the way that I thought it was going to be because I haven't read the book. I wasn't familiar with the story. I went into it blind. I just said, okay, they're walking. They're getting picked off one by one. Cool. That's all I need to know. I'm going to go see it. And it wasn't what I expected, but I really enjoyed it.
I wonder how honest it is to the book. I wonder how much, and you wouldn't know because you haven't read the book and I haven't seen the movie, so I can't tell you, but
I have read some things that it stays pretty faithful, but obviously for like the length of the movie, they had to change, like, for example, how many people are involved. I think in the book there's 100, but in the movie there's 50.
Okay.
And then I believe well, I won't say what else has changed, but there are some changes. Yeah.
I think that's sometimes smart, and sometimes that's a mistake, especially with Stephen King stuff. so many people have read Stephen King's material. When you go see a movie it's supposed to be based on, you're like, wait, that's not how that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And B, I think Stephen King is directly involved.
Mm-hmm.
I think they probably called him and said, hey, we're going to do this instead of that. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen King always says yes. He's always thrilled to be working with other writers as well. Not that he has that power, because sometimes they buy the rights outright and they can do what they want with it. But if they're smart and you have access to Stephen King, you go back to Stephen King and get his opinion. That story was very grim. I remember reading it when it was originally published under the pseudonym Richard Bachman.
Yeah.
Because Stephen King was this close to getting Richard. Nobody knew who Richard Bachman was, and Stephen King was this close to getting Richard Bachman in the top 10 of the New York Times when somebody finally figured out who it was. And so we'll never know if Stephen King and Richard Bachman could have been on the top 10 list together. Probably. Yeah. Probably. That's good though. I want to see that. And but I know it's not a happy movie. So
I would like to see. Oh, you got more?
I have one more.
Go ahead.
Conjuring, but you guys all saw that as well, right?
I have not seen that.
We have not seen
Conjuring. Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. I thought on the last one you guys had mentioned.
We were going to go see it, and then I didn't have time because I was getting ready to go.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
So
that was what I said.
That's okay, but tell us about it. I'm curious what you thought, because we know how you feel about the previous Conjuring movies. So tell us how you feel about the last. It won't be the last now, but Conjuring movie.
Well, yeah, because they announced they're going to do a TV show.
Yes.
Now. Which I think they set up in the film, or at least I can see what they set up in the film. It was good. It was better than 3.
Okay.
And actually, I have the book here. This is the book that it's based off of. And I read about a quarter of this, and it was kind of boring. So I never finished it. Yeah. The movie, what it takes from the actual haunting is and the story is essentially the names of the people, and that's it. There's a bunch of other stuff that happens in the film, and that never happened. Like even the item wasn't actually connected to that specific case. I mean, it was a real thing, but because you're watching the whole movie and you're like, it was the same thing how you were talking about earlier. Like this is supposed to be based on a true story, but they're doing things that it doesn't feel. I mean, it's a story about ghosts, but it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like this might have actually happened, because there's so many things that they do that are just kind of like, I mean, okay, whatever. So it was fun. I enjoyed it.
The fact that it's better than the last one encourages me. That's all I really need.
Yeah.
And the last one wasn't horrible. It just wasn't.
It wasn't to that level. It was similar to the third one, I would say, as opposed to the second and the first one, where they did do these weird things. But I thought it was more wholesome in a way, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's a word that I read a lot about in the reviews. They talked about family a lot.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of family drama in them?
I didn't rewatch the other ones to know if to remember if that was a big theme in all the other ones. I know they are more wholesome people or whatever, and they do kind of bring the families together and whatnot, but I feel like that was more so a theme in this one, where it was more family oriented, and at least for them anyways.
Yeah.
So,
and what the book is called, the Haunted, is it? The
Haunted is the singular book the entire book is based on the Smurl case. But I brought the Demonologist because this is the better one that has a bunch of their cases, including Annabelle and all that stuff. And this one was the OG book that they did. Very good read. Although as you know, they're kind of embellished to make them more exciting.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
As they should.
Would you say these books are not on par with the R. Scott Bolton books that you've read?
Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. I haven't read any of those, but I can get them at the library, and I will. So
yeah, I would definitely recommend the Demonologist.
Start with that.
The Demonologist is the all-encompassing, and then the other ones that they have are just singular cases. I've read a few of them. There was one called Werewolf that was about this guy who thought he was a werewolf. That one was pretty interesting. I read that whole one. And I know I've read a couple of these other ones, but I couldn't tell you what they were about.
Together.
Yeah.
What was the movie that Oh God, what's his name? Oh, the actor that was going to play Superman.
Nicolas Cage.
Yes, thank you, Nicolas Cage. Where he's in a movie where he thinks he's a vampire.
Renfield.
No,
Was that Vampire's Kiss?
No. Well, I'm not sure, but he thinks he's a vampire. Oh, it was Nicolas Cage.
The life of white-collar New Yorker Peter seems to revolve solely around making as much money and sleeping with as many women as possible. After a typical night of scouring trendy bars for some action, Peter manages to take home the sexy Rachel, Jennifer Beals, who bites him on the neck. And I guess at that point he feels like he's become a vampire. Peter is now certain he's a vampire. Yeah, Vampire's Kiss. Look at that face. Look at Nicolas Cage face. I just love that guy. So bizarre, but fun stuff.
Getting back to Mike Hammer and all that, I want to see more Philip Marlowe.
Well, there's been Philip Marlowe. There was an HBO series 20 years ago, 30 years ago that was pretty good. I'm actually surprised that Mike Hammer is getting a return because most people don't know Mike Hammer these days. And I think fewer people know Philip Marlowe.
Well, Philip Marlowe, there's been like 10 actors who have played the
You have a list of them, don't you?
Yes, I do.
That's what he was doing.
Yep.
See, there's been over a dozen films. I think Humphrey Bogart was the first Philip Marlowe. Okay, where'd that list go? Oh, I had it here someplace.
Of course you did.
Oh, of course. The top 4 that they have listed here was Humphrey Bogart, Dick Powell, Robert Mitchum, Powers Booth. Oh, you have a list.
Gould
right
also played him. Dick Powell, you mentioned Robert Montgomery, James Garner, James Caan, Poodle Springs,
Michael Gambon, Gambon,
the singing detective. Palm Springs was a unfinished Chandler book that Robert P. Parker finished. So I didn't know that James Caan had played that. What? So James Garner was in a movie called Marlowe. I guess that's probably about the same character. I didn't know that he played that role.
Well, also Liam Neeson played Marlowe.
Not according to
He's
this.
not on that list, but on the list that I looked up, he is. Those are the books that got me reading when I was a kid. There it is right there. Also Marlowe, 2022. Was the hard-boiled detective novels. I'll never forget. I picked up a Mickey Spillane book, Mike Hammer book, at the used bookstore here in Ventura, and I opened it up, and the first line in the book was, "The guy was dead as hell." This speaks to me. This is what a great opening line. And from that point on, and that's why I write the Bryce Heller novels, because they're kind of an old school detective in the modern world. But I'm not so sure, based on my book sales, that people are reading those anymore. But who knows? We'll Write a Western based around.
I have a horror Western in mind that Pernicious Arizona is what it's called. But
that's not Ventura.
I'm not going to do it. I don't do everything in Ventura.
Well,
let's review that. Pernicious Arizona, Ventura, California. Which sounds scarier?
If you knew Ventura.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's a good point. That is a good point. All right. Do we have anything else that we talked about? I mean,
no, that was everything I saw.
We have not seen Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues yet.
It's still showing Monday.
Yes, I looked that up. So 11 o'clock. Now, unfortunately, we have to see that before we see The Conjuring because Spinal Tap 2 is not doing well.
Yeah.
It's made just barely $2 million in the 8 days that it's been out. The good news is that it cost $25 million to make. Now, that's not good news because they're never going to get to the 50 they need to break even. But I think that, like the original, Spinal Tap 2's life is going to come afterwards.
Yeah.
It's going to come from streaming and from merchandise and from album sales and all the stuff that they've got. So there's still a good revenue stream there. And it's interesting because the critics have it sitting at like a 68% rating, but the audience is like 89%. So the audience is loving the movie more than the critics are. some people say it's not as funny as the original. Some people say it's funnier than the original. All of them agree there's more musical performances in it. So it's more like a concert film than it is the previous one was. So
the movie.
Are we safe here?
Oh, no.
Yep.
We can get that
At least
goal.
we're not getting a building shook again.
Yeah, that was so weird. So anyway, we'll go see that. And then I got to see Conjuring in theaters. That's the whole reason I watched all the Conjuring movies. So, but that's going to be in there for a while because that is a monster hit.
Yeah.
Well, Weapons is still showing downtown Ventura.
Well, Weapons is also a monster hit.
It's such a great. You saw that one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Do you remember the movie Heavy Metal?
No, there was a movie called Heavy Metal.
I'm gonna smack you.
Yes, I remember Heavy Metal.
Did you ever see Heavy Metal?
Nope.
Oh my God. You've got to see. It's an animation that is, it's so good.
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Now, I don't think it did well when it first was
No,
released.
Heavy Metal did pretty well.
It did when
It did pretty well, yeah.
Because I do know there was Heavy Metal 2, and honestly, I don't
There was
remember.
not Heavy Metal 2. There was Heavy Metal 2000.
Well, I wasn't finished saying.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was fun too,
I
but it
don't
was one
remember seeing
story.
that one.
It was one story. Whereas Heavy Metal was a series of stories taken from the magazine of the same name. It was a graphic novel type magazine. But yeah, that movie's probably most famous for its soundtrack.
But the cast,
the biggest hard rock stars in the world at that time, to do Black Sabbath, Sammy Hagar, Riggs,
Cheap Trick.
all those Cheap Trick, all those bands did the soundtrack.
and the cast, the actors, John Candy's in that movie.
Yeah,
And
the voices, because it
their
is
voices.
animated.
That's a recommended movie. I don't know if I have that one in my collection or not.
Well, we can check the list right now.
No, it's not on that list. Trust me, it's not on that list.
I have a good story about Heavy Metal, and it's a weird story too. But I went to see Heavy Metal at the Cinerama Dome because that's where you want to go see a movie with that kind of sound and what have you. I got stuck in the second row at the Cinerama Dome. Not a good thing because you got to watch people go across the screen like that,
And you're doing this.
Yeah, but it all worked out okay because the second the movie started, it was a midnight show back when they had real midnight shows. Second the movie started, this guy in front of me lit up a joint. And when he lit it up, there's that initial burst of smoke, and it just rolled back into my face. And I swear my eyes went,
Nemo.
and I really enjoyed that movie. So
Speaking of Nemo, where'd he go?
he's right there.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
So anyway, all right. So let's talk some news real quick, and then we'll call it a day here. Oh, we do have a movie coming up that we're going to review next week. It's called The Compatriots. It's directed by Spencer Cohen, and the story is Javi is undocumented and on the verge of being deported when he bumps into his estranged best friend Hunter, a boisterous bachelor yearning for connection. Together, they fight to keep Javi in the only country he's ever known. That's all I know about this movie so far. I believe it's in theaters this week, and it'll be available for VOD in coming weeks. It says here it's won 4 awards. It's won Best Narrative Feature, Emerging New England Filmmaker, and Best Feature Film at the San Antonio Film Festival. So there's a few awards there. So anyway, we'll check that out this week, and we'll talk about that next week for you. And what else we got? Oh, so Taylor Swift is going to have a record release party in theaters. I think that there may still be tickets available. If you believe that, you'll buy this watch. I'm sure.
Did you ask your daughter-in-law how many tickets she's bought?
She was going to buy. She wanted to know if we wanted to go with her, and thankfully, she's. They're going to be in Catalina for their anniversary. So, and it was funny because I told her there's a theater in Catalina on Catalina Island, and she goes, "Really? What is it?" And I told her. She looked it up. Guess what's playing at the theater in Catalina?
Weapons.
Jaws.
Jaws.
So anyway,
which Jaws? Jaws.
Yeah. Taylor Swift is going to make a ton of money just from that. That's what she does. And she's going to make some more. Him, which has not got good reviews at all, which makes me kind of sad because it's Jordan Peele.
He produced it.
Yeah. But he didn't direct it or write it. He just produced it. But he's been pitching it. He's been out there, and I understand it's more like a music video than a movie.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailers I've seen for it. Honestly, it doesn't grab me. It doesn't grab me at all.
Yeah, I've heard it's more of like an art piece than a horror movie. And I was already kind of on the fence because like I don't like football at all.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been drawing me in, so I'm probably gonna skip it.
If you want a good football movie,
He doesn't.
The
He just said he-
Waterboy.
no. It starts out as a football movie, but it's not. I think it's called The Last Boy Scout.
Oh, well, that's Shane Black, right? Didn't Shane Black write that movie?
I don't know. I don't remember who wrote it, but it's got. Is it one of the Wayans?
Yes, it is.
From '91. It's really a good.
Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans. A private detective's protected female witness is murdered, prompting him and the victim's boyfriend to investigate the crime that leads to a corrupt politician and a crooked football team owner. Tony Scott directed that. And Shane Black was one of the writers.
It's really a good. It's not really about football, but there's a scene in the movie that I'm not going to spoil it for you. That takes place on the field. It's really cool.
All right.
I mean, you talk about tackling somebody.
I wasn't a big fan of that film at the time, but I think if I went back and watched it now, I'd be a bigger fan because I've got more appreciation for what Shane Black does. He's a terrific writer, especially those kind of films. This will be exciting news for you if you didn't already know this. Martin Scorsese's next film is a haunted house film.
Okay.
You don't seem excited.
No, I did a little face. Okay. You know what? Well, we've talked about it. I'm not like I like Martin Scorsese. I like the guy, but his movies I'm kind of iffy on.
I know you didn't like The Irishman, for example.
I didn't like that one, and I was okay with Killers of the Flower Moon, but like Goodfellas, Shutter Island. I really enjoyed Shutter Island, and that movie Hugo that he did. I like that one. So I'd be interested to see what he can do with a horror film.
Yeah, we'll talk about Shutter Island off air because I liked it too, and there's a reason for that. But if I say anything about it, it's too much of a giveaway, so we'll hold off on that. But Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be starring in it. So is Jennifer Lawrence. It's based on the book What Happens at Night, which is a ghost story novel. It says I don't know who wrote that, but I'll have to look into that as well. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing what he does with this. I'm a real big fan of Martin Scorsese. And
do they have a title for this movie yet?
Yes. What happens?
Oh, What Happens at Night.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. That's okay.
What Happens at Night? That's almost too close to that vampire show.
Oh, What We Do in the Shadows.
Do in the Shadows.
I was thinking that dumb A24 movie, It Comes at Night. That one where it was advertised as a monster movie and then nothing happens in the entire movie and it just was dumb.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Don't.
It's not the one where there's something always walking towards you, right?
No, that's It Follows.
That was awesome.
That was an awesome movie.
Yeah.
No, It Comes at Night had I don't even know what his name was. But I remember I stayed home from work one day. That guy, I don't know his name. I watched it one day because I just saw the trailer. I'm like, dude, this is going to be like a cool artsy monster movie. And I was sick from work. So I rented it from Redbox and I sat and I watched it and it took me all day to watch it. It felt like an eternity watching that. And I took maybe one break just to do something else.
And it's a short movie, 90 minutes.
It didn't feel like 90 minutes.
Wow.
It felt like 4 hours.
Look at the ratings on it.
And add on top of that I was sick and I wasn't feeling great. And add on top of it that it was just a terrible movie. Yeah, not fun.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
But so don't confuse the two because It Follows.
It Follows is like probably one of the most perfect horror movies of the last decade.
Yeah. Have they done a sequel to that yet? They haven't.
No.
Have they? Please don't ruin it.
No, I've heard things that they might, but because the girl who was in that, I forget her name, she was in Long Legs, and they were asking her about that last year, and she was saying stuff about it like they're talking about it, but I don't know.
Don't ruin it, folks. I mean, you don't want to spoil that. And look how long it's been. It's been
2014.
It's been 11 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Great movie though. I agree completely. But yeah, don't do a sequel. Don't screw it up. You'll just do another horror movie.
Yeah.
Don't make it, because you don't want to screw it up. Anyway, that's about it. We got the last thing it says here. Julia Roberts confirms My Best Friend's Wedding sequel is in talks. I'm surprised Julia Roberts hasn't already done that, because she can do whatever she wants, right?
Yeah.
And now it's time for this.
And now it's time for the First Run Progress Report with filmmaker Jeff Genet.
It's all you, dude.
Oh, okay. Cool. Hey, everybody. Here's the update. I've been editing. I'm waiting for people to get back to me on music, on color, and it's just waiting game right now. So I've been editing other things. It's been fun, but that's all I got.
And now it's time for the First Run Progress Report with filmmaker Jeff Genet.
The waiting game is part of the business, and especially when you're waiting for others, especially when others are doing you favors.
Yeah,
that gets real tough.
Yeah,
so,
but
you've been gone too, so that gives you another pass.
Yeah. So I've just been editing other stuff. I got a bunch of like unused short film footage on my hard drive that I've been going through. I've been in kind of like a ghosty mood recently because of the Ohio trip, and because of it being closer to Halloween. I've started taking a lot of those the unused footage from when I was doing paranormal investigations here and there, and I've been editing those, and I've been putting them up on an adjacent YouTube channel for ghost stuff. So that's been fun. And then I got a couple of short films that I never put out that I might edit as well and put up on my personal channel. So we'll see.
I know we follow your one channel, but do we have the other channels? We should follow those at the Rough Edge FM too.
So yeah, the ghost one, which I haven't posted on in like 3 years. It has 2 videos on it. There's a haunted house in Ojai or Oakview called the Nye House.
Yes, I've heard of it.
It looks like the Amityville Horror House. It's a beautiful building. It's also super haunted. I've been in there a bunch of times before they added security to it. Yeah, probably. And one of the videos is from that, and then the other one was me and Pat hiking around Camp Comfort looking for the Ojai vampire. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Ojai.
I've heard
vampire.
of it. Yep. Yeah. Richard said it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we didn't find it, but it was looking around.
Gone down Creek Road looking for Charman.
Yeah. So when and this channel is called Second Run Paranormal because our old 127 channel used to be called Second Run Reels when we were talking about movies. So Second Run, Perfect. It was like the extension of that word. Okay, we're talking about movies here, we're talking about ghosts here, but we never did anything with that. So it's just there's 2 videos and it's just sitting there. When I worked for the magazine No Cover for a couple of years, and I did the paranormal investigations with them, with West Coast Paranormal or Pacific Coast Paranormal, I don't remember what their name was. We did that. We saw Charman, we went to Nordhoff Cemetery, we went to the old LA Zoo, Devil's Gate. So we did an investigation at Cemetery Park, and then we did a couple of demonic possession cases out in LA. So I'm just editing all that footage and putting it together and then putting it out because I'm in the mood to do so.
Is the GoFundMe page still up?
Yeah, it is. I haven't taken it down, but it's still there, I think.
Send your change to that QR code. It'll be appreciated. I have a great Amityville story for you, and then we'll come to an end. I've been meaning to tell you this for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Weeks I've been meaning to tell you this. My wife worked for the Ventura County Superior Courts for many years. I got to be careful how I describe how old she is. She worked for a judge who just recently retired. I believe he's probably close to 80 now. When he was a kid, he lived in New England, and almost every day he played with his friend at the Amityville house.
Mhm.
Wow.
The exact Amityville house.
Wow.
And you know what he said happened there all the time?
Nothing.
Nothing. He said, he there was nothing. He was never scared. He's just a kid, of course. So he didn't have that, that history that would build on him. He was just a kid playing with his friend, who's also just a kid. And they just played and had a good time. And he never felt scared. He never felt a presence or anything that he can remember. He says, just a house to him. But it was that very house, the very place that all took place. And
well, they also mention the Amityville case in this book. Maybe another reason to pick it up.
That's the demonologist book.
Yes. From my understanding, the Amityville house was never haunted, and that family kind of embellished the details because the children have come out. There's actually a whole documentary where one of the kids came out and said, like, yeah, this was all fake. Their parents were into the occult and they wanted to make some money. They sensationalized it. And the Warrens came in and, me working with paranormal investigators, when you're trying to make videos on it or you're trying to sensationalize a case, you walk in and you're like, oh, I suddenly believe them.
Yep.
That it kind of, while they believe, I think the Warrens believe that it was haunted, I don't think that it actually ever was.
Did the murders actually take place, or is that
murders
something?
actually did take
They
place?
did take place.
Yes. That happened in the 70s. That guy did go and kill all of his family. And I think a neighbor kid was staying over too, and then he was killed too.
Bad time to have a sleepover.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. The house, it's an iconic house. I was gonna add it to the end of my road trip, but it's like 2 hours away and I got to drive through New York. So I'm just going to end my road trip at Gettysburg and call it a day.
They changed the windows anyway, so it's not the same.
Yeah. I did hear about that. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
But side story on previously haunted houses, the Exorcist house, the house that the little boy was possessed that inspired the story of The Exorcist, is actually in Missouri.
I thought it was in Boston.
No, that's the movie house.
Movie. Okay.
Yeah, the actual case where the kid got possessed was in Missouri. And I found out about that when I went to go visit my in-laws with my wife. And we were driving somewhere and I said, the Exorcist house is about a 20-minute drive that way. Like, let's go. It's in a college town. And the hospital where they kept the kid for a while is closed and like you can't go in there. So we drove by the house and all the houses look the same. And my wife was giving me directions. And I remember turning down the street and going, that's the house right there. The house looked exactly the same as all the other ones. We pulled up to it. And my wife's like, oh no, it's one. Oh, that is the house. And I'm like, yep, that's the house. Don't ask me how I knew that. We just took a couple pictures and then so I'm sure that house is still, there's something going on in there.
Yeah.
Still.
In the little town that I grew up in northeastern Oklahoma, the street that we lived on at the very top, it wasn't a flat street. It was like on a hill. And at the very top of the hill was a haunted house. Now, the last 2 times I went back to Oklahoma and I went back to that old town, that whole area where that house was has been developed. But I can remember as a little kid, we'd go up there and it was so spooky, especially around Halloween time.
Of course.
Yeah. But that was our haunted house at the top of Southeast Elmhurst in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And I'm sure there's other haunted houses around.
Oh, there's tons. I mean, that Nye house, I went into it a dozen times and stuff. That video that I have on there, I mean, there's nothing that happens in that video. We're just walking around at night. But I had taken.
You fake anything? Come on.
No, I don't fake things.
I know you don't.
Because if I fake things and I tell somebody a scary story, or if I want people to believe me when I tell a ghost story.
Well, it's like First Run is completely true.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, sort of. But yeah, I remember we were going through my friend. She doesn't like all that stuff. She's like, I'm black. I'm not doing this scary stuff.
Is she the one on your podcast show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, I don't do this stuff, Jeff. but she's like, I'll go in this house with you, whatever. So me and a couple other friends were going through. She's jumping at everything. She turns the corner. There's some scary graffiti there. She jumps up. There's a door that slams, jumps and scares, whatever. I'm like, oh, look, this door, it closes just because of the wind. Look. And I open the door, and then we sit there for a second, and then suddenly it just slam. Oh, look, okay, cool. Let's do it again. And then slam. I'm like, see, it's just the wind. And then as soon as I say that, you hear this like somebody's dragging a big heavy thing on the other side. And she goes, Jeff, what the F was that? And I'm like, oh, that wasn't the wind. All right, there you go. Later find out, dude, that was the room that the guy was killed in.
Wow.
Okay, that's a story.
Yeah.
That's a story. You got to write it,
Yeah.
film it.
That's awesome.
But she's like, I never believed in ghosts. That day, I tell that story to everybody. I believe in ghosts and stuff, and I'm trying to get her and her wife to go with me to the on the road trip around to all these different haunted places. And I was like, I'm going to ask you, because I know you don't like doing this, but secretly I know you do. And they're like, you know what? Okay. And her wife was in the background, like looking up places. Oh, we can hit this place. We can hit this place. She's like, shut up. We're not doing
it.
Now, this is not our Halloween show. Don't want you to be confused.
Those sound a little bit like a Halloween show.
Well,
That's
yeah.
okay. I'm going to try to find a script that I co-wrote. It was called The Strand.
Mm-hmm.
And I co-wrote it with my friend John Larson. And it was about what's the ship that crashed off the shore out there in Oxnard, Johnny? The Via La Belle or something like that.
Oh God, I was around back then. I don't remember.
Anyway, there was a
on
big
board.
vessel that crashed on the water out in Oxnard, and it's still there, laying on its side. I think they started taking it apart, but I think parts and pieces are still there. But he wanted to write a haunted story about that. And we did. This is back when, this script is sold. You have to forgive me for that because I'm sure it's extremely dated. But it was printed on a dot matrix printer. So one of these days I want to scan it and try to, if I can scan it, because dot matrix is hard to read. But anyway, I'd like you to read it. It was,
okay, sure.
It was fun to write that. So, all right, we are out of here, folks. We'll see you next week. We have a review of the Compatriots coming next week. It's in theaters this week if you want to go. And other than that, we also will see Spinal Tap, The End Continues, and I want to see The Conjuring too. So, The Conjuring 4. And Josh, I'm trying to get Josh to go with me. So last night he said, just wait for it in TV. No, let's go to the movies. So we'll figure it out. So anyway.
I typed in here, the ship that crashed, and it gives me about a car. Oh, I see why, because
Did you find it? It's La Belle, or
maybe that'll work.
Everybody in town is screaming at us right now. It's this.
La Janelle.
That's it.
Yeah, comment down below. Oh,
yeah, La Janelle.
That was in 1970.
Yes, I remember that because I was in Boy Scouts, and our Boy Scout leader, no, I wasn't. I was in Cub Scouts, and our Cub Scout leader decided it'd be fun, and I was very young then, and she thought it'd be fun to take us to see all these disasters. So I remember that made a mark on me. It was very scary to see this big ship floundering in the water out there.
Her.
And yeah. And then she took us to an apartment that blew up and was all burned and like, I went home and told my mom and dad, why this stuff's going on? You didn't say anything. It was not a good idea, and it could have had some kind of effect on me. But that was after I saw Night of the Living Dead in the theater, so maybe not.
That's Boy Scouts for you, because I got some tales.
Really?
Boy Scouts, yeah.
It says here the ship that famously crashed off Oxnard was the La Janelle, a luxury ocean liner. Oh, I didn't realize it was an ocean liner.
It's creepy, man. She drove up there, and I remember seeing that boat, and I'm like, that ain't right.
Says that sank in 1970 during a storm after breaking from its mooring near Port Hueneme Silver Strand Beach. The ship's wreckage was later used to form a new part of the breakwater, and the area is now known as La Janelle Park.
Maybe it's gone. Maybe they've taken it all apart by now.
But it says the ship was built in 1931, and it served apparently, I guess, as a troop ship during World War II.
And now it's a troop ship for fish.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Hey, go to your movie theaters, your local movie theaters. Support
the ones you have
arts.
left.
Yes, go now because it's the only way to see a movie. It's the best way. I don't care what movie it is either. It's better to see in the theater.
Yes, especially if you got those nice reclining seats like Cinemark downtown Ventura has.
Those seats I feel like Lily Tomlin in Laugh-In in those seats.
They're not that big.
Well, they're not that.
And you're
big,
not
but
that small.
They're still
like
big. That's exactly my point. If I'm still feeling small in that chair's too big. All right, gotta go. See you. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.